Hi everyone, welcome back to The Learning Gardener. If you haven't been here before, my name is Pip. This is Patrick and he is almost 8 weeks old, and we've been inside a lot getting used to this new life we're living, and it's kind of got me thinking about things. I have always wanted to live on the classic homestead, the beautiful big farm looking out onto a view of rolling green hills with a classic homestead style house with a lot more storage space than what we have now, and a big garage where I could work on filling it up with firewood for the season and all of those sorts of things. And I moved out of Sydney to have this life, to move to a place where I could afford to live on a property that had space where I could put in garden beds and try and grow my own vegetables and build this life where I could be a little bit more self-sufficient. Obviously, I'm not going to ever be entirely self-sufficient, but just to be able to produce our own food and veg and have a flower garden and maybe some chickens and some space for the dogs and kids to run around. And in order to make that happen, I had to move out of Sydney. And I was thinking about the dream of the big homestead the other day, and I just kind of started to wonder, when is it enough? When is the pursuit of more no longer helpful and no longer relevant? And I think I'm at that point. I think the reality is that for me, this is enough, which is kind of a place I never really thought much about arriving at, to feel like it's enough, we're enough, we've got enough, it's enough, we don't need to keep pursuing more. Maybe I'd feel different if I won the lottery, but moving out of the country has given me enough space to breathe and reset, and that has made me realize that what we have is enough. I love this house. I love that I worked on this house for myself, my babies, and my animals. I love that I can get into this space and create something new every season. I love that it's enough that I'm never really on top of everything. Not even close, really. It keeps me busy and it gives me a purpose, and it's been a place of healing. I love that it's a 45-second walk to my best friend's house, and that her kids come round if they're home alone and worried about something, or if they feel like picking flowers or vegetables, or even if they've just locked themselves out and they want a key to their house. This is enough. What I love about the idea of the homestead is the idea of privacy. I don't love living so close to neighbours, to being able to hear every word of their fights or their parties, to the dogs barking when the Airbnb neighbours pull up. But the taller my privacy trees get, the more comfortable I'm getting. And you know what? They're really beautiful, and I just love the way they look and the way they frame the courtyard, and I love staring out at them from inside the house when I'm doing chores. I want to try and grow some from cuttings and try and plant more around the property. I don't know if they'll take, because especially in winter our soil gets very, very boggy, and the pittosporum trees don't tend to like those conditions, but for now they're doing really well. I love the idea of being able to have space for the dogs to run. If I had a huge property, what I would do is create a garden with a 6-foot fence the whole way around, which would obviously be very expensive. But I would love to be able to create a place where Birdie gets to feel like she's going for an off-leash experience, like I can do with Rafa. And while she'd be out there, she'd be protected by the 6-foot fence. She couldn't get out and get startled and fail to come home. She couldn't get barreled up by other dogs that might be minding their own business but still terrify her. She wouldn't be losing her mind when wildlife is around. And I could create an area where she could run and sniff and hunt for lizards, and maybe even a pond for her to jump in and feel safe. But the reality is that that would be very, very hard for one person to maintain. And we're already dealing with more snakes than we want to, and probably if we moved to a property like that, we'd be dealing with worse ones than the ones we have here. There would probably also be heaps more kangaroos around, and Birdie would be losing her mind. And the reality is that financially, unless something pretty dramatic changes in my life, that's just never going to happen. but that's what I'd love to do. Here we back onto the bush, and while that comes with some complications like wildlife wandering in and helping themselves to the veggies, it does give us a bit of a detached from society vibe, which I love. But being a few minutes from the shops or from the beach is so convenient, and we'd be giving that up if we moved. And let's be real, my number one priority is Patrick. I would always have loved to have been a stay-at-home mum, but after losing Ollie, that inclination is even stronger. I want to spend so much time with Paddy. I swear he wakes up from naps looking different. I've seen his eyelashes grow over one nap. I've seen more hair appear on his forehead over one nap, and I've seen his cheeks get fatter from the time he went to bed to the time he woke up in the morning. Our kids are part of our daily life for such a small amount of time before they spread their wings. I want to enjoy as much of that as possible. As a single mum, my hands are much more tied on that front. I went back to work after 6 weeks because I was in the area where I work, and with the price of petrol, you have to make the most of each trip. I'll be doing another weekend shift again soon in the not too distant future, and that's fine, but I'd rather not. But I'm trying to be sensible about our finances, especially knowing inflation is only going to get worse. But that's also why I keep working on producing the videos for this channel, even when I was physically compromised. Number one, I enjoy it. It's a creative outlet, and I enjoy the relationships I get to build with you guys in the comments or on Instagram. But it also makes my hobby something that gives us a little bit more back than just food and beauty. It's given us a small income and the ability to claim what we do in the garden as tax deductions. It gives me something that I can do from home with Paddy to generate a little bit of income. Hopefully one day I can build it to the point where it can be my primary income, but for now, this is more than enough, and the fact that we're almost at 4,000 subscribers at the point I am filming this is so exciting to me, and I'm so appreciative of the growth this channel has seen over the last 18 months or so. As much as I love doing bigger projects like building the coop or renovating the courtyard or even renovating the house, the reality is that staying on top of everything when this isn't my full-time job is tricky. And a bigger property would come with even more work. And I just have to be realistic. I don't think I could manage that by myself. I'm hoping that I can still be part of some transformation projects at other places. Like for instance, my brother is trying to get a community garden approved near his house to protect a green space that is otherwise under threat of becoming more apartments. They want to build a veggie garden bed for the community, and I would love to be part of that. But with council involved in the setup, who knows? But a project like that would be so fun. I'd honestly also like to get my hands on my parents' garden, but we'll see. My point is, here is enough. All the things I want to do at a huge property, we can do here without overextending ourselves too much. Okay, that might not be entirely true, but we can certainly try. I can enjoy the view of the bush as the light changes at sunset. It might not be rolling hills, but it's still beautiful. And if I really want to chase the light, I can drive a few minutes down the road and watch the sunset over the water. I can grow as much food as I can handle, have a fun place for the dogs and the children to explore, learn about food security and growing as much food for our family as I can. I can have chickens and enjoy watching them do the weird things chickens do. I can watch the little birds dart around the garden, little birds that have come back to this area since we've built this microclimate in this garden. We can practice the art of food preservation, and I can learn more about cooking. I love this house. I feel at home in a way I haven't elsewhere. Sure, I'd love bigger bedrooms and more storage and to be able to have wardrobes in the bedrooms, but we have what we need, and need and want are different. We have enough and we're happy here. And also, staying on a 1/4-acre block let us build a community and lets Paddy live somewhere where his friends will one day be nearby, which is important. It's also more manageable for me financially and gives me the best chance I can of the ultimate goal, which is to be around for Paddy cakes as much as I can. I've been through a lot in the last 2 years. Well, everyone's been through a lot, let's be real. We all have our struggles. But I feel like I've done what I can to give us the best chance at the life I want without making the past mistakes of working so hard that you lose contact with the dream, lose contact with nature, or with real life, with simplicity, with enough. We've got a fully stocked pantry, our freezers are full, our fire is burning, and we have this beautiful time where we get to just be here and be enough. We'll get to the to-do list at some point, but maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. The vacuuming can wait.